One of the most important lessons we can learn in life is that not everything deserves our energy. Yet so many people spend their days exhausted, frustrated, and overwhelmed because they are constantly giving their attention to things that bring no value to their lives. They worry about opinions that don't matter, arguments that lead nowhere, and situations they cannot control. Over time, this habit becomes a silent thief, stealing their peace, confidence, and happiness. Energy is one of the most valuable resources we possess. Unlike money, time, or opportunities, once our energy is drained, it becomes difficult to show up as our best selves. Every conversation, every thought, every reaction requires energy. The question is, where are you spending yours? Are you investing it in growth, purpose, and meaningful relationships, or are you wasting it on negativity, drama, and unnecessary conflict? Many people believe they must respond to every criticism, defend themselves against every accusation, or prove their worth to everyone around them. But true strength is knowing when to walk away. Not every battle needs to be fought. Not every misunderstanding needs to be corrected. Not every negative comment deserves a response. Sometimes silence is more powerful than explanation, and distance is more valuable than confrontation. Imagine how much lighter your life would feel if you stopped carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. Imagine the freedom of letting go of constant worry about what others think. Imagine waking up each day with your energy focused on your goals, your dreams, and the people who genuinely support you. The most successful and peaceful individuals understand a simple truth. Where attention goes, energy flows. If you focus on problems, you will feel burdened. If you focus on opportunities, you will feel empowered. If you focus on negativity, you will feel drained. If you focus on growth, you will feel inspired. Your energy is precious. Treat it like something valuable. Protect it from anything that consistently leaves you feeling exhausted, discouraged, or unhappy. Because the moment you stop giving your energy to things that don't deserve it, you create space for the things that truly do. Emotional drainage is one of the most dangerous challenges people face because it often happens so gradually that they don't notice it until significant damage has already been done. Unlike physical exhaustion, which can be seen and felt immediately, emotional exhaustion works quietly in the background. It slowly chips away at your motivation, your confidence, your focus, and your peace of mind. Day after day, small frustrations, constant stress, negative environments, and unhealthy relationships begin to take a toll. At first, the effects may seem minor, but over time they accumulate into a heavy burden that becomes difficult to carry. The hidden cost of emotional drainage is that it affects every area of life. When your emotional energy is constantly depleted, simple tasks begin to feel overwhelming. Decisions become harder to make. Challenges seem larger than they really are. You may find yourself feeling irritated over small issues, losing patience with people you care about, or struggling to find joy in activities that once made you happy. What starts as emotional fatigue can gradually turn into chronic stress, anxiety, and a sense of hopelessness. Many people continue to tolerate situations that drain them because they believe they have no choice. They stay connected to negativity, remain trapped in unhealthy patterns, or continue carrying responsibilities that are not theirs to bear. They convince themselves that things will eventually improve on their own. Unfortunately, emotional drainage rarely disappears without action. The longer it is ignored, the deeper its effects become. Another hidden cost is the loss of self-awareness. When people are emotionally exhausted, they often become disconnected from their own needs, goals, and values. They spend so much time managing stress that they forget what truly matters to them. Their focus shifts from creating a meaningful life to simply surviving each day. Protecting yourself from emotional drainage requires honesty and courage. It means recognizing what consistently leaves you feeling exhausted and taking steps to create healthier boundaries. It means understanding that your emotional well-being is not a luxury but a necessity. The quality of your life is directly connected to the quality of your emotional state. When you protect your energy, you protect your future. And when you remove the sources of constant emotional drainage, you create space for clarity, strength, happiness, and lasting inner peace. Many people spend their lives chasing success, wealth, recognition, and achievement, believing that peace is something they can focus on later. They tell themselves that once they reach a certain goal, solve a certain problem, or overcome a certain challenge, they will finally relax and enjoy life. But this way of thinking often leads to disappointment, because peace is not a reward that arrives at the end of the journey. It is a necessity that must be protected throughout the journey. Without inner peace, even the greatest accomplishments can feel empty, And even the most beautiful moments can be overshadowed by stress and anxiety. Peace is often treated like a luxury, something reserved for people who have fewer responsibilities or fewer problems. In reality, peace is as essential to a healthy life as food, water, and rest. It influences the way we think, make decisions, build relationships, and respond to challenges. When your mind is constantly overwhelmed by worry, fear, and emotional chaos, it becomes difficult to focus on what truly matters. Small problems feel larger than they are, and everyday challenges begin to drain your energy. Protecting your peace does not mean avoiding responsibility or ignoring reality. It means refusing to allow unnecessary negativity to dominate your thoughts and emotions. It means understanding that not every problem deserves your attention and not every conflict deserves your participation. Peace is created through boundaries, self-respect, and the willingness to let go of what you cannot control. When you protect your peace, you become stronger, not weaker. You gain the ability to think clearly in difficult situations. You become less reactive and more intentional. Instead of allowing circumstances to dictate your emotions, you learn to maintain stability even when life becomes unpredictable. This inner calm becomes a source of strength that helps you navigate challenges with wisdom and confidence. The truth is that everything in life improves when your peace is protected. Your relationships become healthier, your decisions become wiser, and your goals become easier to pursue because your energy is no longer consumed by constant stress. Peace is not something extra that you add to your life when everything else is perfect. It is the foundation that supports everything you hope to build. That is why protecting your peace is not a luxury. It is a necessity for a fulfilling and meaningful life. One of the most difficult yet transformative decisions a person can make is to let go of what no longer serves them. Whether it is a toxic relationship, a limiting belief, a painful memory, or an unhealthy habit, releasing something that has been part of your life for a long time requires tremendous courage. Many people hold on to things not because they bring happiness or growth, but because they are familiar. Even when something causes pain, uncertainty about the future can make it feel safer to stay where you are than to move forward into the unknown. The truth is that holding on to what no longer serves you often creates more suffering than letting go ever will. When you continue carrying emotional burdens, resentment, regret, or attachments that have outlived their purpose, they occupy valuable space in your mind and heart. They drain your energy, cloud your judgment, and prevent you from fully embracing new opportunities. Growth becomes difficult because part of you remains trapped in the past. Letting go does not mean that what happened was unimportant. It does not mean you are pretending the experience never existed. Instead, it means accepting that some chapters of life have ended and that carrying them forever will only keep you from writing new ones. Every experience teaches a lesson, but not every experience is meant to stay with you forever. Sometimes the lesson remains while the burden must be released. Many people fear that letting go is a sign of weakness, but in reality, it is one of the greatest demonstrations of strength. It takes courage to walk away from situations that no longer align with your values. It takes courage to stop seeking validation from people who cannot appreciate your worth. It takes courage to release expectations that continuously lead to disappointment. Choosing your well-being over familiarity requires confidence and self-respect. When you finally let go, something remarkable happens. The energy once spent carrying unnecessary weight becomes available for growth, healing, and new possibilities. You gain clarity because your mind is no longer crowded with what should have been left behind. You regain peace because you are no longer fighting battles that belong to the past. Life is constantly changing, and part of wisdom is knowing when to hold on and when to release. The courage to let go is not about losing something valuable. It is about creating space for something better. Sometimes the next chapter of your life can only begin when you have the courage to close the previous one. Detachment is often misunderstood as indifference, coldness, or a lack of care, but true detachment is something entirely different. It is the ability to remain emotionally balanced without allowing external circumstances to control your inner state. It does not mean you stop caring about people, goals, or experiences. Instead, it means you stop allowing your happiness, peace, and self-worth to depend on things that are outside of your control. When practiced correctly, detachment becomes one of the most powerful tools for developing inner strength and achieving mental clarity. Many people spend a significant portion of their lives reacting to everything around them. They become overwhelmed by criticism, consumed by other people's opinions, frustrated by circumstances they cannot change, and emotionally exhausted by events they cannot control. As a result, their thoughts become clouded and their decisions are often driven by emotion rather than wisdom. Detachment helps break this cycle. It creates a healthy distance between you and the situations that would otherwise dominate your thoughts and emotions. When you learn to detach from unnecessary negativity, you begin to see life more clearly. Problems that once seemed overwhelming become manageable. Challenges that once triggered fear become opportunities for growth. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond thoughtfully. This clarity allows you to focus on what truly matters rather than wasting energy on distractions that contribute nothing to your well-being. Detachment also strengthens your sense of self. When your confidence is no longer dependent on constant approval, praise, or validation from others, you develop a deeper form of strength. You become less vulnerable to criticism and less affected by the changing opinions of those around you. Your self-worth comes from within rather than from external circumstances, giving you a stability that cannot easily be shaken. Another benefit of detachment is the freedom it creates. You stop carrying emotional burdens that were never yours to hold. You stop trying to control every outcome and every person's behavior. Instead, you focus on your actions, your choices, and your growth. This shift in perspective reduces stress and creates a sense of peace that allows you to move through life with greater confidence. Inner strength is not built by controlling the world around you. It is built by mastering your response to it. Clarity is not found by forcing life to go your way. It is found by seeing things as they truly are. Through detachment, you gain both the strength to remain grounded and the clarity to move forward with wisdom, purpose, and peace. Every day, whether we realize it or not, we are building our lives through the choices we make. The people we spend time with, the habits we practice, the thoughts we entertain, and the environments we remain in all shape the quality of our lives. Yet many people find themselves constantly exhausted, not because life is inherently difficult, but because they have unintentionally created a lifestyle that drains more energy than it provides. They spend their days responding to stress, negativity, and endless demands without taking time to ask a simple but important question. Is the life I am building nourishing me or exhausting me? A nourishing life is not a perfect life. It is not a life free from challenges, responsibilities, or setbacks. Instead, it is a life designed with intention, where the things that give you strength outweigh the things that take it away. It is a life that supports your emotional, mental, and physical well-being rather than constantly depleting it. Building such a life requires awareness and the willingness to make choices that align with your values rather than simply following habits or expectations. One of the most important aspects of a nourishing life is surrounding yourself with positive influences. The people around you have a profound impact on your mindset and energy. Relationships that encourage growth, respect, and understanding can inspire you to become your best self. On the other hand, constant negativity, criticism, and drama can slowly drain your enthusiasm and peace. Choosing healthy relationships is not selfish. It is necessary for maintaining your well-being. Equally important are the habits you practice every day. Small actions repeated consistently shape your future more than occasional bursts of effort. Prioritizing rest, self-care, learning, gratitude, and meaningful goals creates a foundation of strength that supports you through life's challenges. These habits become sources of energy rather than additional burdens. Building a life that nourishes you also means learning to let go of what no longer contributes to your growth. Not every commitment deserves your time, and not every opportunity deserves your attention. By creating healthy boundaries and focusing on what truly matters, you preserve your energy for the things that bring fulfillment and purpose. In the end, the quality of your life is determined by what you consistently allow into it. When you intentionally choose people, habits, and environments that uplift rather than drain you, life begins to feel lighter, more meaningful, and more rewarding. A nourished life is not something that happens by accident. It is something you consciously create, one choice at a time.